So, yesterday I posted a video about how to make decisions, and I explained three different simple techniques that you can use to make the right decision. And annoyingly, none of those techniques were helping me make a specific decision in my life. Sort of felt like a hypocrite. I was like, man, I know these techniques work, but they're not working for me in this situation. And I did something interesting, which I wanted to share with you because I think this will be helpful for anyone who's stuck in a place of it's not a hell yes, but it's not a clear no either. You're sort of in between about a certain decision, a certain invitation, a certain opportunity. And I want to explain what I did in my situation to help me get past that. Lately, I've been reading The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. In fact, I have a chapter from the book that I posted earlier on the channel, which I recommend you listen to. In the book, Dr. Joseph Murphy iterates again and again that you must plant the right instructions in your subconscious mind. And if you impregnate your subconscious with the seed of what you're looking for, your intention, it cannot fail but come to pass. He has a lot of really cool techniques in the book, and one of them is just giving instructions to your subconscious as you fall asleep. And so yesterday, as I was facing this decision about whether I should do something or not do something, say yes to something or say no to something, I turned it over to my subconscious mind. As I was falling asleep, I said, subconscious mind, while I sleep, work on this problem and bring me a divinely aligned solution by morning. I know you have all the answers. I know you have all the data. You know my life from every single moment. You know what the right decision is here. My conscious mind can't see it. My ego can't see it. I know it's not a yes, but it's also not a no. And I also know from my mushroom experiences, my manifestation experiences, I know that there's a divine solution to every problem. So just because I can't see it with my ego mind doesn't mean it's not there. And what I did in that moment was I really instructed the subconscious to work on this problem while I sleep. And when I wake up, I want to have more clarity on this. I want to have an answer or at least more clarity. And you know what? It actually worked. Now, it worked in a very subtle way. And this is something Neville Goddard talks about in his books, is that the manifestation of your desire, of your clarity, of the answers you're seeking, they're going to come about in such a way that it will seem as if it would have happened anyway. Meaning your manifestation will always take the most natural route. Neville calls this the bridge of incidents. And this is exactly what happened yesterday. I couldn't fall asleep until 3 a.m. There was some mosquitoes buzzing in my room. There were some other distractions. Eventually, I surrendered to it. I just said, okay, I'm not sleeping. Let me just use this time to think. And so, of course, I was thinking about the problem that I had in my mind of whether I should say yes to an opportunity, an invitation that came my way, or I should say no to it. Now, earlier that day, like I said, I had no clarity on this at all. Part of me was saying yes, part of me was saying no. But this is the power of instructing your subconscious. As I was laying in bed, suddenly, bit by bit, the whole solution emerged. And I realized exactly what I had to do. By the time I fell asleep at 3 a.m., I basically had all the puzzle pieces. It wasn't a complete picture, but I could see I had a lot of the puzzle pieces. And then by the time I woke up, I knew exactly what I had to do. So that's the first part of this video. I just wanted to highlight the incredible power of your subconscious mind, that you can instruct it. And most of us are not doing this, not consciously anyway. We're instructing it in negative ways. We're instructing it in subliminal ways, perhaps. We pick up things from others, from books, from media, without even thinking about it. But what you can do tonight, if you're facing any challenge, is give your subconscious an instruction. Know that it has the answers, and then instruct it on exactly what you want. What do you want? Do you want more clarity on something? Do you want clarity about your purpose? Do you want an answer around something? Are you struggling with a business problem? Instruct it to solve it. Are you struggling with a relationship problem? instruct the subconscious to give you answers around whatever challenge you're facing. And then fall asleep in the knowing that your subconscious mind will be working on it the whole night, and see what happens. Experiment with this. Now, in Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, he says sometimes it may take multiple days. It may not always happen overnight. You have to persist. You have to keep watering the seed. You plant the seed and then you keep watering it. You don't dig up the seed just because it doesn't sprout after one night. So here's the second part of the video where I want to explain what this solution was for me and what I realized about the decision I had to make. What I realized was that the invitation that came my way, which was to host an event with someone, and my initial thought was yes, and then later on it became a no, and it then later on became this confusion, right? So I wasn't sure whether I had already sort of agreed to host this event with this person. Suddenly I wasn't feeling super great about it. The energetics didn't seem super aligned, but I knew that it wasn't a clear no. There was something in it for me in this invitation that I wasn't seeing, but it wasn't a clear yes in the way that it was presented. And so the solution, and this is going to sound so obvious, but it was not obvious to me at all. The solution for me was to redesign the whole proposal of how this event was going to go. Take the parts I like, remove the parts I don't like, redesign the whole thing and send it back to the person that invited me to do this and say, this is how I want to do this. And if we can't do it this way, then it doesn't feel aligned. Now, if you've ever been a people pleaser or you've ever had issues with boundaries, you know that this is actually the crux of the problem. Speaking your mind, telling people how you want things to go. It's a big piece of the puzzle. And I realized it yesterday that there was something about boundaries that I had to figure out here. But I couldn't tell, was the boundary saying no to the whole event? Because that didn't seem right either. And what my subconscious mind so clearly showed me was it is a yes, but not in the way it was presented to you. So redesign the whole thing, make it ideal for you, make it in such a way that it challenges you in the way you want to be challenged, and then present your solution to the other person. So if you're facing a similar challenge where someone gives you an opportunity and there's bits and pieces of it that you like and some parts that don't feel right, remember, you are the director. You have control here. You have the creative control to redesign the whole thing, the whole proposal that you're being given, and then present it to the other person. Now, if they say no to that, that's on them. And then that's their boundary. And then you can decline the event with full peace. Okay? But this creative director part of you, this needs to be engaged. And that also takes clarity on what you want. So as I was redesigning this event, I had to figure out what would make it a 10 out of 10 for me. And that took some time too. So it's about knowing what you want and then being fearless about presenting it to whichever other parties are involved. Now, if you're the only party that's involved in something, then it's easy to do that. We make those decisions easily. But when you start involving other people, when there's a team involved, when there's a partner involved, then you have to stick to your guns. You have to be the director. Otherwise, it's not aligned. And this comes back to the theme of alignment. Alignment creates alignment. This is from my recent episode on the James Xander trip, episode 26. You can find it in the show notes. Alignment creates alignment. This is what one of my podcast guests said, and it has stuck with me ever since. If you create alignment in yourself in the way that I was creating it for myself by redesigning the whole event to create alignment for me, when I presented this to the other person, it was aligned for them too. So this is a huge lesson of the universe. When you align yourself to something, whether it means no for you or it means yes, whichever way it goes, as long as your energy is aligned, chances are very likely that it will be aligned for every other party involved. And the example that my guest used in the podcast, which I thought was so brilliant, even when it means declining something, she had the example of she canceled the dinner last minute. And she usually would never do that because, when you commit to something, you stick with it. But she really felt like she didn't want to go to this dinner that she had agreed to. She canceled it. And it created an opening for this other person to have another experience, which created alignment for them. So even though initially you might think, oh, if I decline something, the other person is going to be disappointed. Remember, if you're declining something from a place of alignment, you will create alignment for every other party involved. So knowing this lesson, having it been in my head for the last month since I've published that episode, I really trusted, okay, let me align to myself exactly how I want to see this event go forward. And then let's see what the answer is. And the answer was yes. The other party was a full yes for them. And now I feel incredibly aligned with every part of this event. And this is the other thing I want to mention is, for me, and I bet this is true for you as well, for me, it's important that anything I do, anything I collaborate on with another person, I wanted to have my fingerprints over it. I want to have my fingerprints all over it, meaning I want my style in it, my way of doing things, my ideas, my collaboration. The initial proposal, the initial invitation that I got from this person, it had their fingerprints all over it, but it didn't have enough of my fingerprints over it. And I realized, this was the missing piece. And as soon as I redesigned the whole event and I put my fingerprints all over it in the way that felt most aligned to me, while keeping the pieces of it that the original invitation had, it created suddenly this beautiful collaboration, a true collaboration. Not someone else is directing this and you're just along for the ride, but both of you are creating this, right? So this is very important. If you're collaborating with anyone, make sure it's not a one-sided collaboration. Make sure that you have the creative control to put your fingerprints over it, and then you'll feel aligned. This was an epic journey. First, to trust my subconscious mind, to instruct it, and to receive such clear guidance and instructions. That was mind-blowing. I'm definitely going to be experimenting with subconscious instructions in the future. And then also the way this flowed and turned around. Like, I knew yesterday it wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no. And I was so confused because usually those 3 rules that I shared in the previous video about decisions, they work like magic. So one of the 3 techniques I shared was Derek Sivers' quote, "It's either a hell yes or a no." I was like, well, it's not a hell yes, but I don't want to decline this. And then the missing pieces came online, which is that it's not a hell yes because it needs more input from you. It needs more creative direction from you. Redesign the whole thing in the way you want it, and then see if it's a hell yes or a no. Now, if I had redesigned this event and I couldn't redesign it to a point of complete alignment, I would not do it. I would not do it. And so that'll be a clue and a half. If you're editing something and it's just not working, you know that there's a root problem before that stage that has to be addressed. In this case, for me, the invitation was a yes in the beginning, then it became sort of a no, and then it became misaligned. And the alignment that happened for me was redesigning it completely. And I'm going to carry that lesson forward with me for any future collaborations, for any future invitations from someone else, opportunities. I will remember this lesson that it needs my fingerprints over it. It needs my style, my frequency, my creative direction in it. Otherwise, it's just not worth doing. I am at a point in my life where I'm not willing to lower my standards, and I'm not willing to people please, and I'm not willing to say yes to something when in reality it's a no. I felt there was this third divine solution that I was not seeing yesterday. And if you have the same intuition about something, you're not sure if it's a yes or a no, but you feel there's got to be a third solution. There's got to be a third option here, and I'm just not seeing it. churn it over to your subconscious mind. Before you go to bed, as you're falling asleep, instruct your subconscious mind. Tell it, I want answers and clarity on this thing. And fall asleep in the knowing, that knowing feeling that it is done, it's being worked on, and you will receive your clarity. I hope this helps someone out there. I hope this helps you in your future decision-making process. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.